Okay, so today I wanted to talk about imposters. And by imposters, I mean things that people confuse for axolotls. And also confuse axolotls with. The biggest one of these is tiger salamanders. Tiger salamanders, when they are juveniles, babies, before they've actually morphed, and morphing being they lose their gills and they go onto land and they don't swim. I mean, they can still swim, but they don't live in water. Back when they're in that state, they look just like axolotls. They have gills. There's only some telltale signs that you can really tell, and mostly I just recommend, like, if you're looking for those signs, just look at pictures of tiger salamander larvae and axolotls. They look very similar, but you'll notice a difference in the shape of the head. You'll notice a difference in their coloration, stuff like that. Eventually you'll just be able to look at it and be like, that's a tiger salamander, or that's an axolotl, or that's not even either of those. Basically, if you go to the pet store, if you go to the bait shop, different places like that, they might mislabel axolotls and tiger salamanders as each other. Axolotls breed very readily in captivity, but tiger salamanders don't. Most tiger salamanders in captivity are taken from the wild. So likely if it's from a breeder and they've raised it, it's an axolotl. But if it's from like a bait shop, it's probably not, because a lot of times people will use tiger salamanders as bait. In a lot of places, it is illegal to use salamanders as bait. In my state, it is completely illegal, I'm pretty sure, to use salamanders as bait. In lots of other states, it's completely illegal. Lots of people still do it, but it's still illegal. And because of using salamanders as bait, that can lead to complete destruction of habitats. For example, California, they use tiger salamanders as bait, and tiger salamanders, they're all different depending on where they originate. So the tiger salamanders used in California were eastern, I believe. Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they were eastern tiger salamanders. And the native species of California tiger salamanders, they started becoming depleted because they stocked ponds for raising the bait, and a lot of the bait got loose. In the end, they started wiping out the populations of California tigers, and now those are illegal in the entire state. You cannot have ambystoma because people decided to use the tiger salamanders as bait. You think like you're pretty sure that it is an axolotl that's being used for bait, that's being sold as bait in a shop. If you are right, then they're doing some serious damage, because I'm pretty sure that in almost every state, non-native species are not allowed to be released into the wild. And when you're fishing, there's always that chance that it's gonna get loose. So sometimes I'll post a picture of my axolotls, or I'll post them for sale somewhere, and people will comment, oh yeah, I used to have one of those when I was a kid. I found it in the creek. Or, yeah, there's some in the back pond behind me. And it's just so common that they're just mistaken for each other. A lot of different species of salamanders start out with gills, and they live in water, and they look kind of just like an axolotl would, with telltale signs that are just tiny differences. And basically, a ton of salamanders can be mistaken for axolotls when they're in their larval state. Axolotls are some of the only ones that stay aquatic for their whole lives. There are some tiger salamanders that don't morph. It's very rare, but that sometimes happens, and they kind of live out their lives like an axolotl. There's mud puppies. They have shorter gills. They have like a longer body. It's really hard to mistake them for axolotls unless you really don't know what you're looking at. But, yeah, they stay aquatic for their whole lives. They're native to the USA. Sirens also are commonly confused with axolotls because they also stay aquatic their whole lives. They also have the gills, but they don't have back legs at all. They kind of just have like a snake-like body. And I don't know how, but somehow a lot of people confuse hellbenders with axolotls. But they look like so different. And they don't even have gills. They just are aquatic salamanders that swim, and they're really ugly and they're really wrinkly. I think it's called the Texas cave salamander. I don't know. I'll write the real name on the screen. And those are almost extinct too, so you won't have those in captivity, but they look similar to axolotls, but they honestly look more closely like an alm, and an alm is also endangered and not kept in captivity. Yeah, there's just, and I'll probably post, there's tons of different salamanders that look just like axolotls in their larval states. So yeah, I hope that helps with a lot of confusion around the topic, and, helps you out somehow in life. Someday you're gonna be like, well, I know what I'm looking at because, the internet.